from the Lakeside Newsroom of the Henrico Citizen, your hometown news source since 2001. This is the Henrico News Minute with publisher Tom Lapis.
Virginia gets set to abolish the death penalty, and the first cases of a COVID-related illness in children are confirmed in this region. We'll have details in today's Henrico News Minute for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021. It's brought to you today by Henrico County.
And now for the news.
Well, the big news in Virginia yesterday, the state will become the 23rd in the nation to abolish the death penalty after two bills passed by both chambers of the Virginia General Assembly yesterday. Governor Ralph Northam earlier had declared that he would sign legislation that outlaws the death penalty. The identical bills passed in the House and Senate both eliminate death from the list of possible punishments for a Class 1 felony. They also will reclassify capital murders to aggravated murders. Now, the move will change the sentencing for the two remaining inmates on death row to life imprisonment without the eligibility of parole, good conduct allowance, or earned sentence credits. The bill passed in the Senate Monday 57-43. Yesterday, the VDH announced that there have been 5 confirmed cases of multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children associated with COVID-19 in the Richmond, Henrico, Chickahominy, and Chesterfield health districts. They are the first such confirmed cases in this region. 3 of them were identified by health district staff members. That prompted a review between October and February 18th for any cases that had not been directly reported by clinicians or hospitals to the health districts. And as of yesterday, the review identified 2 additional confirmed cases, with several others still being investigated, according to the VDH. MISC is a relatively new health condition associated with COVID-19, and reporting of the condition is currently limited to people younger than 21. It has been known to cause one or more organ systems to become inflamed. Those include the heart, lungs, kidneys, gastrointestinal tract, brain, or skin. It can be serious or deadly, but most children who were diagnosed with the condition have improved with medical care. Well, during the past 3 days, 31 new COVID-19 related deaths have been reported in Henrico County by the Virginia Department of Health, but it's likely that most or all of those occurred weeks ago because the VDH is just now processing death certificates related to the post-holiday surge of cases. Infections across the country are continuing to slow, and the trend is the same here in Henrico, which reported just 55 new cases yesterday after reporting 74 on Saturday and 85 on Sunday. Henrico is now down to a 7-day moving average of 80 new daily cases. The positivity rate among PCR encounters in the county is now at about 8%, and among rapid testing encounters is 7.2%. To date, more than 61,000 county residents have received at least one dose of the vaccine, and more than 17,000 people are now fully vaccinated. If the recent winter storms have left debris in your yard, Henrico County is offering a special bulky waste pickup service for $43 per order. Actually, the offer stands even if you personally weren't affected by the storms. The service is available by calling 501-4275 by March 5th. All debris must meet the county's criteria for pickup and be placed at the road's edge when the order is placed. The $43 charge will be added to residents' utility bills or invoiced. Limbs and branches must be no larger than 4 inches in diameter and no longer than 4 feet. Leaves, yard clippings, and pine tags must be bagged. A measure that would prohibit school boards from suing families to collect school meal debt passed the House of Delegates late last month and yesterday passed the Senate. It now heads to Governor Ralph Northam's desk for signature. The House bill was introduced by Delegate Danica Rome, who said there are 27 school districts in the state that have policies to take legal action against people with outstanding school meal debt. In one instance, a school division outlined the policy on its Facebook page. She said that if debt occurs, schools should deal with it directly instead of taking people to court. An informal survey taken by the Virginia Association of School Superintendents statewide found that more than $1.3 million was owed in school meal debt, and that was just from about half of the school divisions in the state who responded. Yesterday, the House of Delegates Education Committee advanced legislation that will require school districts to offer in-person learning to K-12 students 5 days a week. If it passes in the Senate and Governor Ralph Northam signs it, the requirement would not take effect until July, making it largely symbolic for the current school year. Henrico Senator Shaban Donovan said yesterday, quote, "This is a safe way for us to do the most important thing," end quote. Donovan's original bill was a simple one that would have only required districts to offer in-person learning as an option. It also had an emergency clause that would have made the legislation effective immediately, but that was removed in order for the bill to receive the support it needs from Democrats to potentially pass. Donovan is a Republican. Henrico delegate Schuyler Van Valkenburg, a Democrat who is also a history teacher at Glen Allen High School, worked with Donovan over the past week to create a new version of the bill with much more included. On top of offering in-person instruction 5 days a week, the new legislation says that schools would be required to follow the Centers for Disease Control's guidelines for the mitigation of COVID-19. The new guidelines offer a detailed roadmap for a measured reopening process to get students back into school buildings. But the bill does not provide any additional funding to help schools become compliant with those guidelines. If the bill becomes law, it still will allow the option for virtual learning, and it would direct the Department of Education to develop guidelines for that process. The full House is expected to take up the bill in the coming days before sending it back to the Senate if it passes. Well, the American Red Cross is looking for healthy people, especially those with type O blood, to give blood to ensure that blood products are available for patient emergencies. Extreme weather that we had recently has forced the cancellation of a number of blood drives across the country. In Virginia, that meant that more than 300 units of blood that would have been collected was not. Now, you can make an appointment to give by visiting redcrossblood.org, calling 1-800-RED-CROSS, or enabling the blood donor skill on any Alexa Echo device. You can also visit henricocitizen.com and click on Community to find this article where we list more than a dozen local opportunities to give blood in the coming weeks. Today's Henrico News Minute is brought to you by Henrico County. It's February, and all month long, Henrico County is celebrating Black History Month. Watch original biographies and documentaries from Henrico County by visiting tinyurl.com/Henrico Black History.